They don't dance, so they are no friends.
Men without pants.
Sing it, Nick.
How great is that?
Good morning. You are listening to Fantasy Football 101. Despite the background music, you might be surprised, but you are listening to a fantasy football show here on Sports Radio 1450. 529-1450 is the phone number. Adam Stark alongside Eric Pedigo, Mark Graham, and Nicorelli answering your phone calls. 529-1450 is the phone number. Week number 4 of the NFL season. I'm 0-3 in my fantasy league. How are you guys sitting?
Well, I'm 1-1 in our league, Adam.
Right.
And everything
we won't
comes
talk about that one.
With me, everything comes down to 4 or 5 points a week. It's incredible. The week I won by a few. The week we tied, I could have won if been Reggie Wayne. I lose by a couple points. It's amazing. I could be 3-0 real easy, or quite honestly, I could be like Adam and be 0-3. You've got a good team. You just haven't got production from a couple key guys. And
yeah, but they have big names. Their names are Carson Palmer, Torrey Holt, Adrian Peterson. I mean, you know.
It's been brutal.
My luck. It's my luck. Actually, the only game I've lost by more than 6 was to this guy to my left.
Hey, I put one on you.
Uh-oh.
I put a big one on you. I brought myself back up to 3-3 overall this last week. I won both my games, so
nice.
It was a disappointing start to the season. I started off week 1 0-2, and only won one game my second week. But
Nicorelli, what's your records?
Well, I'm in a league where it just totals the points.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and I'm sitting in 7th place right now.
Yikes. So you're not doing that great either.
Yeah, no.
No.
529-1450. I'm waiting for the caller that we help win every week, though. Last week we helped him out big time with Maurice Jones-Drew again, and so hopefully that guy's on the line. 529-1450. Good morning.
Matt, this is the other guy you helped.
That's all right. There's another guy.
I'm the guy that you said that. You actually was like something about you're a god about having Aaron Rodgers, McNabb, and Rivers as quarterback.
Right.
And then, this week I have Brian Westbrook as a running back, but I have Julius Jones. He has a bye. Then I picked up Darren Sproles, and then I'm wondering, though, if you guys know anything about Brian Westbrook, if I should pick up Roll Buckholzer because he's available in the league. I'll hang up and listen.
Definitely pick up Coral Buckholzer. I read today Brian Westbrook questionable in game-time decision, hasn't really practiced much. There's a much bigger chance that McNabb plays than Westbrook. So it definitely, if you can pick up Buckholzer, that's a smart thing to do. You have to do that.
You're gonna see Westbrook for the rest of the year in the questionable column.
Mm-hmm.
He's just that type of back. He'll play with injuries the whole time, but there'll be a lot of times where he won't play the whole game, and Buckholzer will get a lot of action. So I think Buckholzer would be a nice pickup. Yes.
And as soon as he went down last week, Buckholzer filled in great.
Yeah,
he picked up a bunch of yards and especially 2 and a point per reception because he'll catch some balls too out of the backfield. 529-1450 is the phone number. Good morning. You're listening to Fantasy Football 101.
Hey, I'm one of those lovely people that like one of you who's 0-3.
Thank you. All right, I'm not alone.
And you think you have Carson Palmer and you have Steven Jackson. You think, we'll be fine.
Yeah, right.
Hey, I have 4 running backs. I know one of them's on the bye and he's injured, Maroney. But I also have Steven Jackson, Steve Slayton, and Jamal Lewis. I need to pick 2 out of the 3 to start. Do you guys have any ideas on which one would work best for me?
Well, Jackson, you'd like to stick with him, like you said, but they're playing Buffalo. Very, very good defense. Jamal Lewis, I think you're going to have to play him because I think they're going to be able to move the ball against that Bengals defense.
I think, we talked about it. I'm not sure. I think it was
we talked about it off air.
And Nicorelli mentioned Steve Slayton, and I told him I think Slayton is in for a very good game. I think he'd be a nice play for you. It's a shame. The thought of seeing Jackson, I know, just fries the brain. But it's just a tough go with him. That offense is not doing well, and they're playing, as was said, Buffalo, a real good defense. I'm sorry, I just don't think I can play Jackson this week.
He's got an injured groin too.
Yeah.
Also, you got to take into consideration.
Sure.
I had one other question for you guys. I'm trying to maybe look for another running back just in case, since we're coming up on all these bye weeks. And I'm wondering if one of the ways I can judge it, since some of these running backs that are left are just, I thought they were still in college, some of them, or in NFL Europe, even if it's not around anymore. And I was just curious if maybe one way to judge it is by looking at the offensive lines of some of these NFL teams to figure out if there might be a guy that would be better than others.
Sure. That's one thing you have to take into consideration is the offensive line of each team. That's one reason I just said I'm just not real high on Jackson. The offensive line just is awful. But, yeah, definitely look at that as one of your criteria to pick up a running back.
Okay, well, thank you.
Good luck to you.
Another running back, too, that popped up last week, Kevin Smith, might not be a good pickup, at least right now, because of all the buys. But, again, running through the buys, Patriots, Giants, Lions, Colts, Dolphins, and Seahawks all on buys this week. And the injury report is just monstrous, Mark. Let's run through some of the names, though. Favre probably going to play. McNabb is questionable, though. Bolger's out. He's been benched. AP's on the list again. Westbrook. Parker's out. Bolden's on the list. Palmer, Fargas, McFadden, L.J. Smith, excuse me, and Jeremy Shockey, just to name a few. Who are some of the others, Mark?
Galloway's out. Let's see. I think you mentioned Parker, Darrell Jackson. There's a couple key defensive guys from Green Bay, Al Harris, Atari Bigby. That makes Tampa Bay a nice play offensively with some of their guys. It's the list just goes on and on and on. It's just incredible how many guys are on this list this week. You just have to check, and I'll try to update it on the website, but yeah, be real careful between injuries and bye weeks. There's not a lot of options left.
And speaking of that, then who do you go pick up? That guy was talking about running backs. I have to start Jeremy Stevens at tight end in one of my leagues this week because Dallas Clark's on a bye, and now I have an injury to L.J. Smith, so that's the way I got to go. I mean, who's out there for these people?
You know, that's not a bad pickup, though. And I'll tell you a running back he was talking about, and a guy who's still out there, and I've picked him up in a couple leagues, especially if you're a TD only, Michael Pittman seems to be a real nice play around the goal line. It looks like he's the back of choice when it comes in the red zone. If you're in a TD-only league and you need someone during the bye weeks, by all means, Pittman might be your guy.
It might be the best you can do. Just by default, there's just nobody out there. The one tight end that I saw that was available that I scooped up was the Fasano from Miami, who's actually in point per reception leagues, he's like the third highest scoring tight end this year so far. So you might be able to get your hands on him. I did this morning, but it's just slim pickings right now.
It really is.
It's really hard to get a good, productive player.
Yeah, if you're in a big league, 12 teams or bigger, you've got to really scour it, and you've got to do your homework and look at, as the one caller said, look at your offensive line, look at the other injuries on the team, and really do your homework, and you might be able to find that hidden gem.
Darren Sproles was a big pickup this week. He had a great game last week, and he's one of the most picked up players that I saw on Yahoo anyway. I'm in Yahoo and Fox Sports both, but on Yahoo, Darren Sproles was the most picked up player in this last week.
I'll tell you someone else you might want to look at, and it falls in the same line as Ingram and Branch. Kevin Curtis is going to be coming off the injury list here in another week or so. If you've got room and he's on your free agent list, go ahead and pick him up and stash him for down the road. That would be a real good pickup at this point in the year.
You should probably make room. I really like Kevin Curtis when he comes back as a guy you could plug in most weeks. You should probably make room. And about Darren Sproles, I'm afraid his window may be closing. LT's healing up quite fast. I read today that he's cutting better. He's worked his spin move back into his repertoire, and he's really coming back. He was only 70% last week, and he's feeling a lot better. So expect Sproles' load to kind of decrease a little bit.
Good news for all those guys with LT on their roster, especially when they're playing Oakland this week.
Yeah.
529-1450 is the phone number, and streaming live at sportsradio1450.com. And again, you can check out all the injury updates on the webpage at sportsradio1450.com. Time now for our studs, duds, and sleepers of the week, and we'll still take your phone calls, 529-1450. We still have 10-15 minutes here to take your phone calls. But, Mark, let's hear your studs, duds, and sleepers for the week.
Okay, for my stud, Marshawn Lynch, and you know that's cheating, I know, because they're playing St. Louis. It's not really fair. You could take the whole offensive unit from Buffalo. But I really like Lynch this week. I think he has a possibility of really going off for, let's say, a buck and a quarter and a score or two. Dud, Ryan Grant, he's still not 100%. The hamstring still bothers him. They're on the road against a pretty good Tampa Bay defense, especially against the run. I don't like Grant's chances for a real good game. And sleeper, I think Chris Perry of Cincinnati has a chance against the Cleveland team. They're at home against Cleveland. Cleveland hasn't shown me anything at all defensively. I think that Perry has a chance to really surprise. If you're looking for a back that you just can't seem to get a lineup, if you've got Perry or he happens to be out there, go ahead and play him. I think he'll do you some good.